Manchester United make shock official approach for Bayern Munich wonderkid, and Trafford Council announce plans for Old Trafford and surrounding area redevelopment. These are all the things we'll be discussing on this morning's show. But before we get into that, please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. So let's start off with the story about the redevelopment of Old Trafford and the redevelopment of the surrounding area. So this has been widely reported in the last 24 hours. I'll bring you all of the information about it, and then we can, of course, discuss it all together. So the headline is this. It was announced on Friday by Trafford Council that ambitious plans are being put in place to regenerate the area around Old Trafford. It says the update comes just days after Ineos Group and Ratcliffe's 25% takeover of Manchester United was officially approved by the Premier League. The announcement from the council will see the area around Old Trafford regenerated in the years to come and will lead to redevelopment of the stadium itself. It says, although renovation of the current 75,000 capacity stadium could prove difficult due to the nearby railway line. It then goes on to say that John Leach, the sports sector lead for infrastructure consultancy company AECOM, believes a rebuild on the same site would cost at least 500 million, which is considered to be less than what a total relocation would require. It says any type of move would be time consuming. And Lee, who worked on schemes for the 2016 Rio Olympics, says the most realistic completion time period would be up to 3 years. You know what? This is incredible news, all of this. It really, really is. You know, Jim Ratcliffe has only just got his foot through the door, and we're already getting stories coming out like this, saying that there's going to be money going into the local area, there's going to be money going into the surrounding area, and that Old Trafford's going to be redeveloped, because this is exactly what we've all been crying out for. Anybody who's been to Old Trafford in the last few years, like, every time I go, for some reason, I like to walk from the station, Piccadilly Station, which is in the centre of Manchester, to the stadium. It's about an hour's walk, but obviously because I've been sat on the train for a while, I quite like to have a walk before then being at the ground. Anyway, anybody who's done the walk from the kind of, you know, the central area of Manchester to the stadium, like, after about 10 minutes, you're just walking through pretty much nothing. There's nothing there. Like, I think every time I go in like KFC, and that's like about the best thing in the surrounding bit. There's like a Dreams bed company. There's like a sofa shop. Like, it's just random. There's nothing there to really make you want to spend money. And honestly, this is such refreshing news for the fans who go week in, week out to the stadium, that they're going to have more amenities around the ground and that the ground's going to be improved. So the plans have been laid out, and it's going to be where the media city is. Obviously, the BBC moved up there recently, so it's going to be all around there. It's going to be incredible. It really, really is. I've seen some plans already of, you know, what bits they're going to develop and stuff. It's going to make it a place that people will want to come to. Now, I know people will say you go because you want to go to the football, right? But like I said, whenever I go to the game, I'll arrive at the stadium like half an hour before. Like, because there's nothing there. There's no reason to get there earlier. You'll just be like standing in pretty much a car park, or like standing on the side of a motorway. So I think it's honestly such good news that they're going to do this. It will bring more tourism to the area, which I know some people will say, I don't want tourism, I just want, you know, local fans and all the rest of it. But we don't live in the world like that anymore. Man United are the club that they are because of the fans who travel from all around the world. And those fans should have the best match day experience possible, you know, whether that's by having a range of different bars, you know, having a range of different restaurants, having a range of hotels, cinemas, like things like that just make it more of a day out, more of an attraction, which I know, again, for the people who've been going for 50 years and are born in Manchester, they'll say, oh, we don't want that. We're happy with how it is. But I think for the wider, the wider demographic of people who might only go to Old Trafford once in their life, who've maybe travelled from America or travelled from India, like, you want them to go and have a good experience. And that's exactly what Jim Ratcliffe and Trafford Council are kind of setting out to do here. So it says, ultimately, the vision will create a greener, more natural place which offers a balance between engaged community spaces and major global destination spaces. It says the result will be an attractive, connected and natural place to visit and dwell. On top of all these things I've just said about, you know, amenities and all the rest of it, they're apparently going to build 5,000 homes in the area around Old Trafford, which again, I think is incredible. Anybody who lives in the UK knows there's a housing crisis going on here. Obviously, this isn't a political channel, but the 5,000 new houses surrounding Old Trafford as well. They're really, really focusing on the local community, which I think is so important. They're focused on, you know, making sure that they put money into the area and not just into buying, stupid players for 100 million who are going to rinse us dry and leave. And I think it's really, really good. I'm happy about it. If anybody does want to read more about this, if you want to see all the plans and stuff, if you just type in Trafford Council plans for Old Trafford, go and have a look. You can see a map of exactly where the different areas are that they're going to develop. And it's really, really interesting. So go and check that out. Let's move over to some more specific football related topics though. And let's talk about this shock approach for a Bayern Munich wonder kid. So this story broke last night, and it's coming out from Plättigol, who is a very reliable journalist in the Bundesliga. His name is Florian Plettenberg, for anybody who doesn't know who he is. He's got nearly 300,000 followers on Twitter. He's one of the best journalists for the Bundesliga, and he specifically reports for Sky Sports on Bayern Munich. He's been very, very good over the last couple of years, whether it was the Harry Kane transfer, the Eric Dyer transfer, all of these, even Jadon Sancho. He's been very good around Bundesliga transfers. And he is reporting that apparently Manchester United have officially approached Bayern Munich for the signing of 18-year-old Mathys Tel. Anybody who doesn't know who he is, that's completely fine. That's what the purpose of this channel is there to do. He is predominantly a striker. He's French, 18 years of age, but he can also play on the left wing, he can play on the right wing, and he can play as a centre forward or a striker. But his primary position is a striker. Bayern Munich bought him in 2022 for 20 million euros. He's appeared in 17 games this season for Bayern Munich, but most of them have been off the bench. He's only played 361 minutes across all competitions, so he hasn't really played that much, but again, he's only 18. Now, do I like this player? Yes. I think he would be the perfect profile. I think he'd be the perfect understudy or even competitor to Rasmus Højlund. He's somebody who would come in and not expect to be playing every single game. He's somebody that could learn and grow with Rasmus Højlund. And I think it would be an incredible signing. I really, really do. So let me just read out what Florian Plettenberg said. He says the club have officially contacted his management and inquired about a potential transfer in the summer. It says Man United definitely want to sign another striker in the summer. Aside from that, they are very satisfied with Højlund. It says Man United's interest in Xerxes is still present, but has somewhat diminished in the meantime. He says Tel is now in the spotlight. Really, really, really exciting news that. And then he also goes on to say as well, he says Manchester United have made official contact for the first time and are now very interested in signing Mathys Tel this summer. He says 2 other clubs from England have also inquired about him in the last few weeks. And he says, I've been told, even though it's not easy for him right now, he still doesn't want to give up as he wants to become a legend for Bayern Munich. But if he doesn't receive the right feeling that Bayern will believe in him for the future, he will consider his options, but a loan is not one of them. I would love this to happen. I would, guys. I really, really would. I think it's going to cost you probably somewhere around 40, 50 million. Bayern Munich signed him for 20 million a couple of seasons ago. His stats haven't been incredible, but I think when you consider the amount of minutes he's played, I think he's done well. So last season, for example, he played a total of 732 minutes across all competitions, okay? Which isn't that much. It's probably the equivalent of about maybe 8 matches total minutes. And he got 9 goals and assists. So if you look at it based on minutes, he was getting a goal or an assist every 90 minutes that he played. And I think that's amazing for an 18-year-old. He's in the French under-21 squad. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys. Would you like to see Mathys Tel at Manchester United in the summer? Or is there another striker that you're more interested in? Obviously, we know we've been linked to Joshua Xerxes. We've been linked to Benjamin Sesko. We've been linked to, obviously, people like Gonzalo Ramos, Jonathan David. There's people like Victor Osimhen, who I don't think is going to come personally. But let me know in the comment section, who would you like to see as Manchester United's new striker next season? Obviously, Rasmus Højlund is going to be the man for the next 10 years for me. I think he's unbelievable. But we 100% need another option there. Obviously, for anybody who's unaware, Anthony Martial's contract expires in June 2024. So in about 4 months, Anthony Martial won't be our problem anymore. He'll be gone. And then the only out-and-out striker we'll have will be Rasmus Højlund. Obviously, Marcus Rashford can play there. I think even Bruno Fernandes played there as like a false 9 once, which didn't really work. But the only out-and-out striker we have will be Rasmus Højlund. So we desperately need to reinforce that area. And it's going to be really interesting to see what we do. I honestly, out of all of the names I just suggested, I think Mathys Tel would be absolutely perfect. I really, really do. I think I said this on a show a couple of weeks ago that my only concern about signing another striker in the summer is that if you went for a big profile striker, like an Ivan Toney, a Victor Osimhen, someone of that caliber, they're going to want to play every single match, and rightfully so. They're in their prime. They're not going to come and want to be an understudy to Rasmus Højlund. You know, no offense to Rasmus Højlund, but he's at the beginning of his career. Victor Osimhen and and Ivan Toney and the likes are in the prime. They're going to want to start every game. Whereas Mathys Tel, at the age of 18, could come in and perfectly suit this. And his versatility would be honestly perfect. As I just said, he can play left wing, right wing, striker, and centre forward. And he does all of those positions well. So for me, I think he'd be a great option. I really, really do. He'd solve lots of problems. And I would definitely endorse this one. He's got 3 years left on his contract. So, you know, it's going to cost you probably 50 million. But let me know in the comment section, guys, who do you want to sign as Man United's next striker in the summer? I'm going to wrap the video up here. I hope everyone has a great Saturday. I'll speak to you all a bit later. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.